Oh. Hello and welcome to Hughes at 10. It is Thursday, the 1st of September 2022. Yes, I'm still alive. I'm still here. All right. This is a thing that exists, says Yoni. Yes, it is Hughes at 10. I'm sorry I've been away for so long. I've been working on a lot of other projects over the summer, and but now it is the autumn term. It is September, and I thought I'd better come back at least for one night to address the absolute nightmare that is unfolding before us in the Tory leadership election, where it looks like this horrific woman is going to be our next Prime Minister. And I want to talk tonight a little bit about what that means for the country and where I think we're going to go next. But first of all, I will jump into the comments. We've got Mad Monk there. Hello, mate. Long time no see. Thank you, Mad Monk. I got Yoni saying, all right, this thing exists. I've also got Deus Ex Machina, or Machina, 82. I'm never quite sure how to say that. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. I hope this is working okay and I don't look too... green. I look really green on this side, don't I? And I'm in a tiny little box and I can't move my hands out or my hands will disappear. So I've got to kind of stay like this the whole thing. I've got the Daily Blasé on the line saying, good evening all, long time no see, hope you are well, Graham and everyone, which is nice. And yeah, I'm fine. Had a bit of a we were supposed to go on holiday. We were supposed to have our first family holiday in 3 years. First one. Kids are really, really excited. I was going to visit some of my family in Denmark. We're going to go to Legoland. I'm going to build this up. I'm really going to build this up. We're supposed to go to Legoland, which I've never been to. And although I have family over in Denmark, and I've been to Denmark dozens of times in my life, I've never actually been to Legoland. And it was something that I really wanted to do when I was a kid. And now I'm a big kid. And I've got two stepdaughters. I wanted to take them to Legoland. And we were all packed and ready to go. We had our passports, our tickets, everything ready. My cousin in Denmark was going to throw a party. Well, he did throw a party, but he was having a housewarming party that he'd made. So it happened when I was going to be there with the family. And yeah, we had a positive COVID test. And so we had to cancel everything. So that was my summer. How was yours? Okay, Graham, we love you, says Patrick. Thank you very much, Patrick, and I love you too. Duke Vengeance says, who dares disturb my nice gaming session? Who dares? Oh, it's Graham. Hello, Graham. How are you? I'm all right. Did you stop the Ukrainian drives as well? That's Deus Ex Machina. Yeah, well, we didn't stop them on purpose. I would have done another one yesterday. I would have done one in July. I would have done one in August, and I would do one this year, this month in September. However, we've got no money. We literally spent all the money on the drives over that we did. And I actually spent a big chunk of my own money making that happen. And we ended up buying a 4x4 and that going over to help in Ukraine. So, I mean, yeah. And now, I can't complain about, my situation at the moment because I know that a lot of people are in much more difficult positions than me, not least people who are... Well, we're all facing massive energy bills if you're in the UK. If you're not French, essentially, you're going to see your energy bills go through the roof. But don't worry, Boris Johnson was on the telly today saying, what you want to do, mate? You want to buy a kettle, a new one, and it'll save you, drum roll please, £10 a year. Yeah, take that, Martin, money-saving expert. Buy yourself a kettle for 20 quid and it'll save you 10 quid over the course of a year when your bills go up to £6,000. You see, that's the sound of a man who's never lived in the real world, i.e. Boris Johnson. We've got, who else have we got here? We've got number 3. Hello, Richard, saying, hi, babes. And we've got Patrick McCarthy. Heard you on LBC James O'Brien show back then. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you. Was that when I called? Give me a moment. All right. There we go. Thank God for that. I think what happened there is my second monitor that I'm not actually using went into standby mode, and that actually affected everything else that was plugged in to my laptop. which is, as always, straining. I love the way my hand disappears there. I've really got to get this sorted out. So, yeah, that happened. So, yeah, was that the one where I said that getting a thank you off Viti Patel was a bit like getting an Olympic medal off Hitler? That was, yeah, I'm quite proud of that line. I want that to, follow me. I may put it on my business card. Evening, says Walter Howison, and Asperger's Europe says the descendants of evicted Chagos Islanders are to be granted UK citizenship. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? So the Chagos Islands, I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly. Are these the ones that were taken over as the British Indian overseas territory and given, was it Diego Garcia that was given over to the Americans to put an air base on there, or a naval base or something, and the indigenous islanders were moved out and taken to, I think, Mauritius, and yeah, they've been fighting to go back to their homelands since forever, and the UK is like, no, we said we'd give it to Uncle Sam, and we have to abide by that now, which is a bit rubbish. I think that's what the Chagos Islands are. I might be getting it wrong. I'm a bit rusty. Evening all, says Kate Cannon. Thank you so much for joining me, Kate and Richard and Yoni and Jacob and Charlie. Hi Charlie, how you doing, mate? It's amazing that you're all here. I did no prep for this in terms of putting out a thing saying, hey, I'm going to be on the internet tonight at 10 o'clock. I just thought I'd just start rolling. And what I want to do is a show at least once a week talking about politics. I'll probably do more than that, but also I'll be doing, hopefully, the question time with this nightmare, Liz Truss. Liz Truss. I mean, can I just talk about Liz Truss for a moment before we go on to other topics, including Trump? We need to talk about Trump. We can't talk about Trump. We need to talk about Donald. It's like we need to talk about Kevin, isn't it? God, that film's depressing. Okay, anyway, so Liz Truss. She's thick as mince. She's absolutely thick as mince. At least Boris Johnson, who is thick as mince as well, but he's thick in a different way. Do you know what I mean? He's intellectually stunted in kind of like, he's got no emotional intelligence. He's a psychopath, a sociopath. He's not all there. Do you know what I mean? There's an important part of his soul that is missing, to quote Charlie Brooker about Tories. But like with Liz Truss, she's really thick, because what Boris Johnson could do is think on his feet. And he's quite a good debater, all things being equal. I hate the guy. I want him to burn in hell forever. But I got why people liked him. And I also understand why, people thought he was okay. I didn't think he was okay. I thought he was a fucking monster. But Liz Truss, man. Liz Truss, she's a monster. And she's thick as pig shit. And the only thing that she can come up with to tackle this horrific problem that we are heading towards full on. I mean, we're already in the realms of pubs and fish and chip shops closing down already. Now, it's only, August only finished at midnight last night. We're already seeing it. We're already seeing the effects. And what her big idea is, this is how fucking stupid she is. This is her big idea. Tax breaks for the rich. Sorry, what? Tax breaks for the rich. Sorry, the rich? That's who you're worried about? You're worried about the rich? That people are going to starve to death this winter or freeze to death. That'll be their options. And we're not just talking about elderly people. Babies will fucking die if we don't do something about this. If we don't make our energy bills affordable for everybody, babies are going to die. And a 5% cut on VAT, which isn't charged on fucking food anyway, and even if you took 5% off £6,000, oh my God, you took 5% off, thank you so much. I can afford it now. What? And then, what, you're going to take that off income tax, are you, love? Are you? So who's that going to help? Is that going to help people on the lowest incomes? No, it's going to help people on the top incomes, because they get a massive tax write-off. Fantastic. Tax breaks for the rich. That's her big plan. That's it. Oh, and also, do you know what the most depressing thing in the world is? This fucknugget's going to be our Prime Minister. No, the second most depressing, the most depressing thing in the world to this fucknugget here is that you driving along. Just imagine in your head. Imagine driving and you look over to the left on the motorway and you see a field full of solar panels creating infinite British energy. Cheap, efficient, infinite British power. And looking at that field, you think, fuck, I'm so depressed now. According to Liz Truss, that's the most depressing thing in the world. That's how thick she is. So her big plan to deal with the problems that we are facing, because the gas prices have gone bananas, and for some dickhead reason, the price of your nuclear power and the price of your solar power and the price of your wind power is based on the price of the fucking gas. What? So the price of gas goes up, the price of the other commodities that don't cost anything more to make, because there's no shortage of sun. Fuck. So she's going to get rid of renewable power. Infinite British power. We're going to get less infinite British power. That's her plan. And we're gonna get more gas out of the ground in Britain, which is probably going to be sold to other countries. Kate Cannon says, can't educate pork markets. Duke Vengeance says, pork markets. I'm in Bristol looking for a life. That's number 3. And we've got Patrick McCarthy there saying, we need to talk about Kevin. Wasn't that written by the Brexiteer Lionel Shriver? I don't know. Was it? I thought it was written by a woman. Okay, I don't know. I saw the movie with what's the chops, thingy, Talia Tamsin. Oh, bloody hell, what's her name? The ancient one out of Doctor Strange. She's in The Beach. She's in everything. She's kind of like Tilda Swinton, thank you. No, I got that. I'm just thanking myself. She's a vampire that will bleed us dry, indeed. By the way, if anyone wants some bit of fun, I don't know if you've been following me on Twitter or on Facebook, but the last few days I've been going over to dreamstudio.ai and creating things like this. Basically, you type in what you want and it'll come up with a picture for you, which is copyright free. Brilliant. And you can use it. So I'll be using that a lot over the next few weeks, I think. But yeah, anyway, we decided to embrace both the sides of madness, the wrath and the insanity. By the way, I'm still building that giant tree. Good job. I thought we lost you forever, says Kevin. It's okay. No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm stuck on this island with the rest of you. Although I do have my own island that I could run away to if things got really bad. But I'll be leaving my family behind, which would really suck. So, yeah. Tax breaks for the rich is always the plan. It just gets new clothes once in a while. Indeed. Number 3 says 80 quid on its way to you. Thank you so much, number 3. Thank you. That is really generous and kind. Thank you. Australia, this is from Patrick McCarthy. Australia is well placed to deliver solar power, but is enthralled to this fossil fuel industry. I know. That's absolute madness. You drive through Australia and it's the sunniest place on earth. It's ridiculously sunny. Like there's a whole desert in the middle, the size of a fucking continent. That's just sun all day. There's no clouds. It's just sun. It's just sun goes up, sun comes down. And you know what? You call it a desert, but it's actually quite shrubby, which is good in a way because you don't want to. People talk about building a solar power plant in not a power plant. There's a solar panel fields of solar panels in the Sahara Desert. The problem with that is the sands of the Sahara are quite fine. And so you'd spend half your life cleaning the damn things. I don't know if you could get self-cleaning things that maybe have a little brush that go back and forth over them or something every day. Oh, that'd be a good idea, actually. Someone should invent that. But yeah, in Australia, you don't have to really worry about that so much. The only thing you have to worry about in Australia is flies. There's flies everywhere. Wowzers. Okay, it's been a while. Thanks, number 3. No, I was away for, I wasn't away. I was here in Durham all of August, but I was just trying to get on with some other projects that I've been trying to deliver. Lionel is also a female name. Says Patrick McCarthy. Is it? I'd never met a Lionel before. I met a Hillary. I've met a Lawrence. I met pretty much all the unisex names, one way or another. Francis. I'm Francis. Spelled differently. Anyway, hello, says John Barleycorn. I'm on an NHS waiting list. I've got an appointment for a doctor in you got an appointment in October 2023. Are you kidding me? That is insane. I'm sorry, John. That sucks. Jesus Christ. So they called you up and said, we got an appointment for you in October. And you went, oh, great. And they went, 2023. Jesus Christ. It's just gone down the pan, hasn't it? I was really thinking about this because it's obviously 10 years since the Olympic Games, the summer of 2012, and honestly, things were boss then. Things were really, really boss. Kevin's saying, Graham, actually my screen is flickering on and off, so I can't fucking read what it says. Can you stop flickering on and off screen? Do you talk to me about Twitter? Don't you talk to me? Okay, that's Duke Vengeance there. We've been chucked off again. Graham, here, Ireland, they didn't buy enough energy to get us through the winter, so we are going to have power cuts out of here out of stupidity. Stupidity has no nationality. Yeah. That's true. And disturbingly, Italy is now voting for fascists. It looks like fascists are going to absolutely walk the next election in Italy because it went so well last time. Last time, Italy installed a bunch of fascists in charge of their country. Do you remember that? When 500,000 Italians were killed. Yeah, let's bring that back. There was a great tweet. There was a great tweet that someone put out. It must have been a couple of years ago, but I saw like someone had screen capped it, and it basically said you know these knobheads who go on about the past. It was either glorious or an ordeal that he had to live through. Pick a side. Pick what was it? Was it glorious or was it an ordeal? All these little fuck nuggets going, yeah, when I was young, there used to be ice on the window. Yes, dickhead, but you had a fireplace in which you could burn shit. Now, most of the houses in this country do not have a fucking fireplace, and a chimney to get your fuck's sake. Idiots. Absolute morons. This is someone else, wittier than I, pointed out. They're going to find big difference between the immune system of a child and the immune system of an old lady or an old person. John, I've had the same. I could be crocked over by then. That's from Andy. Press the like button, folks, says Patrick. Thank you, Patrick. John says the other problem with the Sahara is getting the power to where it's needed. There's a distance limit, how much power you can stick down each cable, and there's a limit before you have to switch to DC. Very good point, John. Well made. Same here in Ireland. The electric bill and petrol is going up in Ireland. Casper says, hi, everyone. Hi, Casper. We've got Joe Hay saying, ooh, hi from Dublin. Tim Hicks saying, great to see you back. Thanks, Tim. Nice to be back. Nice to be back. In the basements, wanging on. Those were the days, says Andy. I made one joke about Boris. One, says Duke Vengeance, who obviously was kicked off Twitter for going off on one. Those were the days. Was the joke? What was the joke? Yeah, what was the joke? It's a bit of a free platform, this, and it actually goes out on Twitter. So feel free to just say what you like, I guess. It'll go out on Twitter. Maybe I'll get a ban. I doubt it though. Things people get away with on Twitter. Look at this. I'm steamed up in my... Stupid. At least you know my tea is hot. So, yeah, going into this winter is just going to be a nightmare. I'm trying to go and... I haven't got my new setup set up yet, but I'm hoping that it'll all be LED lit because obviously, like, the amount of power to power my big light over there to light up this room... it's just, and I'm thinking about, tea. What I'm probably going to do is just boil the kettle once in the morning and then have like loads of little thermos things like this with the lid on and just basically line them up. And then throughout the day, I'll drink them so I don't have to put the kettle on during the day when I'm working. Me and my partner have already agreed we're not going to turn the heating on when we're working during the day in the winter here in Durham because we both work from home and it's just going to be outrageously expensive. So you're going to see me presenting in my coat, which I've done before from down here. I'm just, it's 2022. These fuckers going, when I was a kid, it was great, and we had all the frost on the windows, and we had 17 blankets, and we had to piss in the garden, man. And it's like, yeah, couldn't we have moved on? Don't you want the best for your grandchildren? Don't you want the best for the future of this country? Don't you want the best for this fucking country? Or the people who live in? No, I don't want anything but everyone mean and horrible and selfish. Do you know what it's like? Do you remember Harry Enfield and Chums, back in the 1990s, they had a sketch called The Old Gits, and it was Paul Whitehouse and Harry Enfield, and they were these old men who were horrible, and they were on the bus and just being horrible to people. And there was one episode when they won the lottery. They won the lottery, and then they're sitting there with all these stacks of money in front of them going, yeah, we won the lottery, yeah. And they're discussing what they're going to spend their money on. And then they realise that they could both die at any time. And so to make sure that no one else gets their money, they burn it. They burn the lottery money and laugh about it. Children in need, they'll have to stay in fucking need. Yeah, we have several million people in this country who are just like that. Several million. The Old Gits from a comedy show. Let's have a look. How many fires are going to be lit in unsafe conditions this winter? Scary. That's very true. Kate, you're going to see everything's going to go up. Crime is going to go up because people aren't going to have any money. They're going to get desperate, and desperation leads to crime. Poverty leads to crime. You're going to have people dying of carbon monoxide poisoning. You're going to have people dying of gas explosions where they've tried to shut the gas off themselves or try and get around the gas meter somehow. You're going to have people doing a lot of unsafe things out of desperation because there are two things that make people do really fucking stupid things. One of them is desperation. The other one is boredom, by the way. Boredom. There have been plane crashes that have happened because the pilots were fucking bored and they thought they'd try something. I think we did Brexit because we were bored. Things are going great, aren't they? You know, after the Olympics, we all seemed like we were a great place. I'll tell you something. When I finished my Odyssey expedition in November of 2012, I'd been to every country in the world, and I had on my website, I had the top 100 countries in the world. Originally, I had literally every single country that I'd been to on the list, but I halved it to just the top 100 because I didn't want to be mean about places. I didn't want to say, this place is a shithole. Especially, white, male, middle-class wanker going to someone else's country and declaring it a shithole. It's not cool. It's not cool. So I didn't call places a shithole, but, I just got rid of the bottom 100. I just said, okay, here's my top 100 countries in the world. And right in the top 10, I had my faves, places where I had a really good experience, like Iran, places that are just nuts, like Bolivia, places that I just love the bones of, like Thailand and Egypt. But do you know what number one was 10 years ago? England. It really was. Maybe I was still on a high from the Olympics, but that's what I put down. I put number one, England. I wouldn't put it in the fucking top 100 now. I would not put it in the top 100 countries of the world. In 10 years, that's how much we've fallen. That's how much we've just gone. In my opinion, other people's opinion, the world's opinion, fuck me, the Tories have done a number on us. And we're heading into a winter of absolute fucking desperation. And this fucking cunt here is like, tax breaks for the rich. I'll press the button. Yes, I would. I'll press the button. When asked if Emmanuel Macron, who is the president of France, is a friend or a foe, she said the jury's out on it. To rapturous applause from the fucking dickhead otters in the fucking audience. Fucking sea lions, sorry, not otters. Don't mean to cast aspersions on otters. They don't clap, I don't think. Yep, class, so English. Yoni says, tax cuts don't really help with house fires and carbon monoxide poisoning. Indeed. Andy McAvoy, I'd like to hear your insight since going to Ukraine. Graham, maybe next stream. I'll do a show about Ukraine probably next week. Well, depending on what happens with this leadership election. But yeah, I'm going to try and be doing more shows whenever I can at 10 o'clock on night. So just, if you're not already subscribed, I'm sure everyone watching this is probably subscribed because that's how you knew that I'm actually gone live. But if you do subscribe, that would be great. Have you noticed while the country is in the cost of living crisis, the right-wing gammons are messing their pants over some comments Meghan Markle said? We've totally jumped the shark. That's from the Daily Blase. Daily, honestly, I fucking love Meghan Markle. I think she's I think she's awesome. I think she's amazing. I think she's one of the most amazing human beings on this planet. And I love the way that she drives the gammon mad. It just makes me so happy to see them so unhappy. But like the royal family, man, like how thick are they? And also, you know, these royal commentators, these white upper class little twats who call themselves royal commentators, write books on the royals like they're busy mates with with Princess Diana or something, which they never were. When Princess Diana was alive, they were all writing about how much of a cunt she was. Do you remember? I remember on the day she died, 25 years ago, on the day she died, there was an article in the Mail on Sunday, on Sunday, about her dress sense. I think it was written by Sarah Vine, actually, who is this week has been banging on about what a horrible person Meghan Markle is. And I'm just thinking, Sarah, you look like a grotesque. You look like a character from League of Gentlemen. You look like a cross between one of those faces on the hillsides in Easter Island and a blob. That's what you look like, Sarah. And you're married to Michael Gove. That and you're saying this to Meghan Markle, but the thing is, what these dickheads don't get, what they don't fucking get, is they are accelerating the demise of the royal family and Britain's power in the world by what they're doing. Because what they don't realise is that the vast majority of people who live in the fucking Commonwealth aren't white. Did you know that? Did you know that? Let's count the white countries in the Commonwealth. Okay, let's do it. Britain, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Malta, arguably, Cyprus. Technically, that's in Asia, according to the Guinness World Records. Any help? South Africa's not white. John Barleycorn, only good things about England, the folk music, marvellous dancing and some nice festivals. That's it. Indeed. Walter says, an oldie but goodie, the best thing about England is the road to Scotland. Indeed. Crystal says, love to see you back, Graham. Hi, Crystal. How you doing? We got Gregoire say, the jury's still out. She has no idea how much damage she did there. Yeah. About the President of France. France, which is a member of NATO. Our closest ally. We were on the same side as France in World War II and World War One. They are one of our closest allies for over 100 years. And yes, they've done things that pissed us off, and we've done things that have pissed them off. But to say that not an ally, this country has signed a document along with the 29 other members of NATO that aren't Britain, to say. If Britain gets invaded, then we will come to Britain's aid. And she doesn't know if that's an ally or not. My God. What's happened to NHS? England reports on waiting times. Not seeing any for God knows how long. Apparently the waiting times have gone fucking mental. Steve Barclay's now in charge of the NHS, I think. And he's basically said they're going to just stop doing cancer treatment. Because they can't. I mean, for fuck's sake. Pete Crosby. Hi, Pete. Good to see you back, dude. Just signed James Garner. Cue the Rockford Files music. We just signed James Garner. Brilliant. Good job. I'm assuming he's talking football. The Lefty Boater. Evening, Mad Monk. Fancy seeing you here. Kevin Hegarty says, what happens when Truss is kicked out in day 6 months? The UK have to wait another 9 weeks to find another PM. I don't know. Owen Jones still whining about Starmit. Duke, I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to read all the other comments. Only good thing about Liverpool. Only good thing about England. Liverpool. Joey, yes, absolutely. I think that's what I said. I said, well, you know, it's got Liverpool in it, so that's why it was the best. Now Liverpool needs to become an independent republic of Liverpool. Evening Lefty, yes, I pop up everywhere these days, says MadMonk33. We've got Kevin Hegarty saying, what happens when Truss is kicked out in, say, 6 months? Does the UK have to wait another 9 weeks to find another PM? Sorry, I just read that. We've got a super chat. Thank you very much, Patrick. Super chat, £5. Are you looking forward to the Rejoin March on the 10th? Yes, I am. And thank you to you and also to Richard, because now I can afford to get the megabus down to London. Obviously, 70 quid is not enough to take the, I think it was 70 quid, might be 90 quid. It's still not enough to take the train down to London, so I'll be getting the megabus the night before. So if anyone wants to join me on the megabus, give me a shout. But yeah, I will be there on the 10th. Well, I very much intend to be there on the 10th. Indeed. Lefty Boater says, I usually lurk in the background. Kevin Haggis says, hey, number 3, what's not English? Duke number 3 says, a non-partisan one as during World War II. Hurrah. Yeah. So, yeah, sorry, what was I going to come back to? It's gone off my screen here. I'm actually just seeing this screen. That's all I can see at the moment because my other screen's not working. So, yeah, if you want to go back, I'll be there. I need to book a train. Richard, give me a shout when you get there. I'll turn up with my little trusty hip flask full of whiskey. Can't afford a beer in London. I mean, come on, a beer in London. But yeah, it boggles the mind. There's a lot to talk about. Oh yes, that's what I was going to mention. The pubeless one. What's his name? Talcum X or Owen Jones, as he's known. He was featured this week on I don't know, Jeremy Vine or something. When it was Jeremy Kyle, some privately educated Jeremy. All Jeremy seems to be privately educated, except for Jeremy on this, who's not. But yes, and they had this clip of him going nuts, going absolutely fucking cock-a-hoop about, I don't know, Waitrose or something. It was just so cringe. Oh my god, he was like, hey, he's a con man and a liar, he's a con man and a liar, bring back Jeremy, I just want Jeremy. Mate, let it go. They can't, they're cultists, they're absolute cultists, and cuntists as well. No, they're not against cunts, they are cunts, they're just cunts. Cunty cultists, that's what they are. And yeah, I don't think they're ever going to get over it. And they're going to try and use this stabbed in the back bullshit. And I would not be surprised if all this bullshit was being funded by 10 Tufton Street. I really fucking wouldn't. It would be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because why would you divide the left in this way unless you were being secretly funded by the right? Anyway, hurrah! Also, just found my GP surgery has been privatised. Fucking hell, John. What? The company concerned is 100% owned by a corporation in the US. Oh my god. Oh, and then John saying Owen Jones and Darren Grimes, 2 buttocks of the same arse. Yes. Yeah, they absolutely are. They're so similar. I would not be surprised if they got together. I really wouldn't. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. Also, you get these people who used to be dead left-wing, don't you? Or used to be like the revolutionary communists who are now right-wingers. People like Claire Fox, who I had the great pleasure of calling a cunt to her face, which was really, really enjoyable. That was at the end of January 2020 when we left the EU, and they had a big party in the what's it called, the Parliament Square thing, Parliament Green, whatever it's called. Yeah, indeed. Ginger's Giraffe, the Ginger's Giraffes, the great US healthcare. I got a note that it's my time for the yearly checkup. The earliest available date is in January. Our private healthcare is getting worse. This is the excuse, isn't it? Yeah, but look at Britain. They've got public healthcare and it's rubbish. It's like, well, actually. Yoni says, let me guess, a certain insurance corp that's the second number 2 industry in the home state. Oh my god. The lefty boater says, I love Owen Jones. I think you might be the only one, the lefty boater. You know, he's gone bonkers in the last few years. He's just absolutely lost it. Like any you know, gravitas, any moral, I don't know, high ground that he had after writing Chavs. He seemed like he had his head screwed on. And then he just lost his fucking mind over Jeremy Corbyn. Just lost his mind. Just, oh my God, I love you so much, Jeremy. And you say to these people, like, I remember saying to a Corbynist at the time, like, what would it take? What would it take for you to stop your support of Jeremy Corbyn? This is when all the anti-Semitism was causing absolute bloody ructions in the Labour Party, and two of the 4 MPs in Liverpool quit the party. They were both Jewish women. Louise Ellman. They were both Jewish women, and they left the party because the anti-Semitism was so bad, and all these people go, no, there's no anti-Semitism. There's no anti-Semitism. Look, there's someone who self-identifies as a Jew, and they say there's no, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, just fix the problem. Don't deny it. Don't just try and find ways of not having to deal with the problem. That's bad humaning. I was going to say bad management. That's bad being a human. You know, if someone says, this is genuinely upsetting me so much that I'm going to leave the party, you go, fuck, let's try and sort this shit out. You don't go, la, 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 there's nothing to see here. Anyway, getting off the subject a little bit, but there was a thing like saying, someone mentioned about this Owen Jones interview. Well, it wasn't an interview with Owen Jones. It was an interview with Keir Starmer, and they showed this clip of Owen Jones on the show, and someone said, you know, and for those who think that Keir Starmer is against privatisation, he just publicly owned Owen Jones on national television, which I thought was quite funny. Super chat, thank you, Kate. Buy a hip flask, thank you very much. Thank you. Get a hip flask from Matt and Warehouse. Do they sell hip flasks? No. Millets. They got nice cheap hip flasks. Just got back from a busy A&E shift. Great to see this back. Hardly any chance to watch YouTube these days. Oh, great to get you, Phil, and thank you very much for all your good work at the A&E. We need more people like you. Centene Corporation, based in St. Louis, Missouri, ranked number 24 on the 2021 Fortune 500. Jesus Christ. Is it St. Louis or St. Louis? I think it's St. Louis. I think I said it wrong. You called the receipt next Tuesday. Brilliant. Worth researching. Former RCP member. Oh, God, there's a massive spider on the floor. Jesus Christ. Where'd it go? Where'd that fucking spider go? Oh, God, he's under the bed. It's about this fucking big. I fucking hate spiders. Ugh. I'm going to be a bit on edge for the rest of the show now. We received 100 messages. Yes! Do you know who else I called a cunt to their face a couple of weeks ago? I was in town. I was in London. This is about a couple of months ago now. I was in London, and I met with Steve Bray, and we were at the end of Downing Street, and I was shouting, and he was shouting. It was great, and they were playing music. We were playing music. And I was shouting, Boris Johnson, you fucking horrible little twat, and all this kind of stuff. And there, you know who was there? Penis Corbyn himself, the denier of climate change, and the denier of vaccine whatever. Vaccine's working, basically. He's an absolute fucking scumbag, and I hate him. And I told him to his face. It was great. Mentioned the fact that my partner is deaf because she got measles as a baby. Well, not as a baby, as a toddler. She got measles because she wasn't vaccinated. She couldn't be vaccinated because she might have had an allergic reaction to one of the ingredients. And if every fucker had been vaccinated, apart from her, she wouldn't have got it, and she'd be able to hear things. And then I called him a cunt. It was great. Anyway, Owen Jones being funded by 55 Tutton Street, never thought of that, but the more I think about it, it wouldn't surprise me. You might have a point, Graham. I was kind of just joking, but would you really be surprised? I've read most of the Fort report. It sure as hell doesn't clear Corbyn, as people are saying. In fact, it shows how bad management his party was under his leadership. Yeah, exactly, John. I mean, that's... So I'm going to have to put these in here because I seem to be knocking something against the table. Oh, no, it's not them. But yeah, I mean, it is mad, isn't it? It says that he couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery, which he couldn't because he is thick as pig shit. He's another one. But privately educated, so he gets to do whatever the fuck he wants. The mad thing about Liz Truss is she's painfully middle class, but she's not privately educated, which is a bit of a, turn up for the books. But she is only going to be in office for a couple of years maximum. But yeah. Hey, I'm just between you and me, I think the Queen's on her last legs, isn't she? She's circling the drain. She's not leaving Scotland. I don't think she's ever going to leave Scotland. Hashtag just saying. Which is going to be interesting. So what I was going to mention earlier, and I kind of got distracted by your wonderful messages down here. But what I was going to mention is the fact that what people having a go at Meghan Markle in this country, they didn't realise the damage they're doing to the Commonwealth and to the Crown, because Barbados has already backheeled the Queen and now the royal family, and it looks like Jamaica's going to go the same way. And they're not going to have her as head of state anymore. And the reason for that is because of they watched with, you know, the people in Jamaica who like the royal family and like having the Queen, they watched Meghan and Harry get married, and they were like, "Yay, cool! You know, we feel like we're part of this now. And we feel like some kind of association with the royal family. This is amazing. We have a person of colour in the royal family, in the British royal family. This is wonderful." And the way that they treated her, they've all looked at that and gone, "Oh, fuck this shit." Like, why would they? Why would they still want the Queen? Why would they still want the royal family? The Commonwealth actually has a lot of benefits, and so you get countries like Mozambique and Rwanda that were never part of the British Empire, and they still want to be part of the Commonwealth because it makes sense as trading partners and things like that, and going to events and things. But when it comes down to the royal family, I mean, it's gone. You know, you'll see all the countries in the Caribbean that currently have the Queen on the banknotes, the Eastern Caribbean dollar. That's not going to last much longer, especially with Charles on the throne. Had a chat with a guy on the street recently, says number 3, an amputee with a wheelchair. Buggered at 5, he said. Cut marks on his wrist, suicidal. Bloody hell. The Brexit festival should be changed from unboxed creativity in the UK to boxed in, trapped in the UK. That's very good, Nick. I like it. Phil says, I'm getting deafer sadly, but 72-week wait main NHS for an audiology appointment. Deafness really isn't treated as seriously in society. It's really not. It's really not. And something that I did tweet this week, on Saturday, it is cinema day or whatever that they have each year, and it's £3 to go and see any movie. Any movie. £3 if you can hear. If you can't hear, you're fucked, because there are sod all movies on Saturday anywhere in the United Kingdom with subtitles. Thanks for that. Super chat, £2. Thank you. Leave EU has gone into liquidation. Yes, I heard about that. And doesn't that fucking horrible little privately educated cunt Aaron Banks, doesn't he owe 7 million? Doesn't he owe 7 million? Is that right? He owes £7 million to someone. I fucking hope so. Open top colonial Land cover don't help the royal reputation. Oh yeah, the Land Rover. Sorry, yeah, Phil. Yes, that was a bit embarrassing, wasn't it? Oh, it was very embarrassing. Question: what is the agenda of the Enough is Enough cult? They seem to be pretending to be against something. It seems to be hard left. Well, yeah, the Enough is Enough. I'm a little bit sus about it. Look, I don't know enough about it. I'm not part of it. I don't know. It just, yeah. The sad thing about the Queen is that Truss will have to come to Scotland to be sworn in. Yeah, Walter, you're going to have your beautiful country sullied by this bloody new nightmare. Boris Johnson today. Boris Johnson going out on a high, telling everyone what a great job he'd done. Going on a farewell tour. After being on fucking holiday for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, however long he was on fucking holiday for, while the country is freaking out. You know, people aren't used to this kind of stress that this government has put on us. This kind of like feeling of despair that this government has manufactured. We're not used to it. We're not like, you know, we haven't lived through a war, and neither have a lot of the people who think this is great. They were born after the war. That's why they're called baby boomers. I agree. I had to go private for my ADHD diagnosis. I had to go private for my ASD assessment. It's costing me thousands. Jesus Christ, that's from the lefty boater. And yeah, ADHD. I mean, it's something that you would think would be fairly. I don't want to sound like a pretentious twat or something here. I'll probably do anyway, but ADHD doesn't seem to me like the most difficult thing to diagnose. You know, I mean, I've got friends, I've got relatives with ADHD. I probably have a bit of ADHD myself. It's a bit obvious. Do you know what I mean? It's the crazy ones who come up with a lot of ideas and run around a lot and never seem to focus on one thing for long enough. It's just a problem that I might have sometimes. Anyway, but yeah, it just seems mad that sort of thing is just not being covered in the NHS at all. And the whole mental health provision on the NHS is terrible. And the reason for that is the doctor has 5 minutes with each patient, and 5 minutes isn't long enough to give you a qualified opinion on what is wrong with you. And we need to have more mental health practitioners or MHPs in surgeries around the country, so you can either go and see your GP for a problem that you're physically having, but if you're having a mental problem, then you go and see your MHP. who have a bit more time with the patients. And we need more people trained up. Unfortunately, fuckloads of people who were trained in these kind of things, doctors, nurses, psychologists, psychiatrists, they're fucked off home to the EU because we told them to. Like a bunch of dickheads. I've just discovered at age 66 that I may well be on the autistic spectrum. I always knew that other people were weird. That's a number 3, indeed. I wrote a tweet about the link. Well, what I see is a link between people who are on the spectrum and people who have difficulty with particularly understanding that not everything has to fit nicely into a box. I was talking about this in terms of the transgender debate. I was accused of being transphobic by a very good friend of mine being in Liverpool. And I was kind of like, I can see, sorry, not transphobic. I was accused of being ableist, sorry. And I thought, yeah, I could have phrased that a lot better. But what the point was that there were a bunch of people out there who are fucking evil and transphobic, homophobic, racist, horrible gobshites. And I feel like they prey on people with mental health problems who have difficulty getting their head around certain concepts. So, for instance, you know, the obviously the 57 different varieties of autism, but one particular part of autism, and a friend of mine had this type in which he found it very, very difficult to understand that things aren't black and white. It was like either X or Y, male, female, gay or straight, and anything that kind of came in between that, non-binary or bisexuals, that would really freak him out. He was like, no, you got to make up your mind. You got to make up your mind. Are you gay? Are you straight? And you go, well, you know, sometimes I'm gay, sometimes I'm straight. What's wrong with that? And he found it very, very difficult to understand. And this is someone who's not prejudiced in any way, shape, or form. It was just his neurodiversity that made it difficult for him to get his head around. So that was the point I was trying to make quite clumsily on Twitter the other day. So I apologise if I offended anyone who read that and thought, he's having a go at the autistic people now, that fucking arsehole. I wasn't having a go at the autistic people. I was just having a go at people manipulating people in certain ways. Okay, anyway, so Truss will get a really warm welcome in Scotland. Can you imagine? Oh, yeah, that'd be boss. Yeah. So, you know, I told you that my holiday got cancelled at the very last minute, my holiday to Legoland with the family. We did go up to Scotland for a few days. Scotland seems to be our go-to because obviously Durham is very close to Scotland, and an hour or so up the road. So, yeah, Scotland again. I fucking love Scotland. I swam in a loch. I was like swimming in this loch going, can't fucking swim in a British lake at the moment, can you? Because it's all full of shit. The Tories have dumped 1 million tons of shit in our waterways and around our coast. And that's their legacy. That's the legacy of Boris Johnson. 1 million tons of shit. Fucking arsehole. Maze, you mean experts, Graham? Oh my God, no. The lefty boat, I wasn't diagnosed till I was 40. I know people who haven't been diagnosed till their 50s, till their 60s. Maze, but it is helpful to get the diagnosis and then have things that, you know, either get the cognitive behavioral therapy. I don't know if that was quite appropriate for ADHD, for instance, but you know, or even medication that helps you just deal with everyday life a little bit better. My brother reckons I have autism too, but I'm chicken to go to the doctors and find out. Well, I mean, Duke, if you did have it, it's not like anyone's going to think less of you, and also it would mean that you would get some support that you wouldn't otherwise get to be able to just get on with stuff. And if you do find it difficult to get on with stuff in everyday life, I mean, you may as well do it. Scotland's bra. If Scotland actually goes independent, are you still moving there, Graham? That's from Don Donovan. Yeah. Well, problem is that so I live in Durham at the moment with my partner who has 2 children, and we don't want to take them away from their dad, who lives in Durham. So it's going to make it difficult for me to move to Scotland in the next 10 years. But what I'm planning to do is spend a lot of time in Scotland. I have a friend who has a flat up there, so if I rent his flat for a nominal fee, rent a room in his flat, and then have a postal address in Scotland, and then eventually I'll move up there and get a citizenship and a Scottish passport. That's my plan. Yeah, every weekend in Edinburgh. Has everyone here signed the petition to stop Boris getting his mates and father the House of Lords and Ladies? Oh God, I haven't signed the petition, but yeah, we should do that. Dig out because what Boris is planning to do, Boris on the way out, sorry, Johnson is planning to do on the way out, is to make lots of people lords in the House of Lords. Like he's going to stack it with 50 new lords that he's going to make, and they're all going to be fucking lunatics like the ones he's already put in, and on the lines of Ian Both and Claire Fox and fucking that absolute bloody. Who's that knobhead who keeps tweeting about shit? Lord Moylan, is it? He's a fucking dickhead, that man. Absolute dead cert cunt. Being well informed about our own natures is critically important, yet missing in most schools. Yeah, that is a damn good point there, number 3. Scotland's bro. I was in Scotland in 2005. The water was amazing. I've never tasted anything so fresh and clean. The Lefty Bow says, I'm thinking of claiming asylum in Scotland when the inevitable happens. Yeah. I don't blame you. Oh, also, when we went to Scotland, we were over in Dumfries, and we went into Dumfries town centre, and we went to the Rabyburn Centre there, and they were like, oh, we're also a cinema. And I said, well, that's great, but Catherine's deaf, so we won't be able to watch any movies. No, we've got subtitles. I'm like, oh my God, I love this place. So we ended up watching the new Thor movie with the kids with subtitles, and in this little tiny little cinema in Dumfries. I'm like, yeah. I'm Scotland, you're really impressing me. You're really impressing me. I think if I lived there, though, all I'd do is like whiskey tours, like every day. I might get a job doing whiskey tours. That could be my job. I'll be quite good at that. Although I don't sound Scottish enough, I don't think. Get your Scottish European passport. Absolutely. John says, my mother and her mother were born in Scotland, so hopefully I'm ensuring for citizenship. The irony being that, obviously, my complexion, I do have Irish ancestry on my mum's side. My dad's side are Welsh, because Welsh ancestry, for the name Hughes is a Welsh name. And I was born in England, so I don't actually have any blood ties or geographical ties with Scotland in that way. And yeah, I'm probably going to end up being Scottish as things go on, funnily enough. Yoni says, we can always hope that Johnson royally F's up the paperwork and doesn't get the Lordettes in place after all. Oof. Lord Moylan, sinister looking. Yeah, he's a sinister looking cunt. I fucking hate that man. He just posts. He's a shit poster, isn't he? Shit posting for laughs. Anyway, right, so I'm going to wrap it up soon because we're coming up to the 11th hour. And thank you very much for watching. If you want to drop in a super chat, now's the time to do it because I'm about to wrap up. But yeah, I am going to be back definitely next Thursday, and I will try and get back before then for another show. I want to start making live videos again because obviously I had a bit of a gap. I mean, look, things went down in Ukraine, and we are going to talk about that, obviously, in the next episode, I think, if there's nothing more pressing to talk about. We all jock Tamsin's Barnes. Yeah, they can talk shite on Twitter, but I'm not, apparently. I'm not bitter, I swear. You've got to use asterisks. Use asterisks. That's my top tip. I wrote the most obscene things on Twitter, but I don't actually use swear words, so it doesn't get picked up by the Twitter bots. By the way, breaking news, Twitter have added an edit button to some users. So if you're using Twitter, there might be an edit button, which is going to come in really fucking handy, I tell you. I've been wanting that for a long time. Thanks, Graham. It's good to see you again. That's from Mad Monk. Thanks. Great to hear from you guys and girls. It's been really good. Phil says there's also a reopening of ferry routes from Rosyth, Firth of Forth to Zeebrugge. Scotland want to re-establish connections with EU countries. Something else I found out about Scotland when I was there. You know, Alba, the Scottish name for Scotland, it's not pronounced Alba. Someone's going to tell us in the comments now how it's meant to be pronounced. So thank you very much in advance. 2023 apparently. Cheers. I've hit the bell, so I won't miss the next one. Brilliant. Au revoir. Good to see you in action again, Graham. That's some number 3. Glad you're back. Edit button. Whoa! Says, I know. Well changing. Do you know what? Has anyone seen the latest headline from Pippa Carrera? No, I haven't, because I've been talking to you guys. Tell us what it is, Daily Blase. Daily Blase. Come on, tell us. Cheers, Graham. Oh my God. Is this like a joke? Is this like, how do you hold an idiot in suspense? And I'm like, tell me. I'm sure we'll find out in a moment. I swear often on Twitter. I struggle to get followers, however. What's I soon the road from me. Listen, I did want to talk about Trump a bit tonight. So, look, if he gets arrested in the next week, I'll do a live show. If the Queen dies in the next week, I'll do a live show. If anything monumental happens in the next week, I will do a show. Okay, so just look out for it. If there's breaking news which stops the radio and stops everything else, and you're like, "Oh my god, this is incredible!" I'll do a live show, and I'll head over to the Discord server afterwards for a chat with you all, which I haven't done for ages. I can't do it tonight because I still have to clear up the washing from dinner, which I said that I'll do before I went to bed. So unfortunately I won't be able to join everyone. Oh, I suppose I could. You won't be able to see me, but I could just get on my phone, couldn't I? And yeah, yes, I'll do that. So if everyone wants to head over to the Discord server, you're very welcome to join us. If you haven't got a link to the Discord server, get in touch with me somehow, either through my email or Twitter or something, and say, "Hey, Graham, dickhead, I haven't got a bloody link. Let me have a link." It's only supposed to be for people who are patrons, and for those patrons out there, thank you so much. You keep me afloat, keep my head above the water, just about. Sweary PMQs, yes, John. I don't think PMQs starts again for a bit because haven't they got like conference season or something? I don't know. Whenever the PMQ starts again, whether it's this month or next month, I will be here. It's about the Partygate investigation. Tell us more, Daily Blase. Sorry. Yoni's telling me how to pronounce Alba. It's Alaba. And Patrick is saying no. It's Alapur. Alapur. Am I saying that right? Alapur. An irrelevant voiceover on the funeral would be something. Oh, irreverent voiceover on the funeral would be something. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Yes. Okay. Yes. Sold. When the Queen carks it, do you know what though? I kind of want her to stay alive for another couple of years. There's a couple of reasons for this. One, I don't want her last Prime Minister to be Boris Johnson or Liz Truss. I don't know. That's so depressing, isn't it? But also, she is the second longest reigning monarch whose dates are verifiable after Louis XIV, the Sun King of France. And yeah, I'd quite like for her maybe to, beat him, and then she can go. But I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, Trump going to jail, and we get to see he's been wearing a toupee as it's removed. That police photo would make my year, indeed. 7th of September, PMQs a week today. No PMQs are on Wednesdays. That can't be right, Patrick. Yeah, 7th, that's a Wednesday. Yeah, it's always on Wednesday. Okay, peeps. Excellent. Good stuff. Just checking my notes there. Okay, so yes, I will definitely be back for PMQs on Wednesday. The first PMQs of this fucking nightmare, Liz Truss. I want her to be alive until the Tories are out. Yeah, I don't want her demise and her succession to be managed by a Tory government. I do not trust them. Yes. Phil, I couldn't agree more. Kevin says, I've got a major argument with my very best friend 2 weeks ago. She's Irish, living in the UK, and turns out she's a Brexiteer. What? But somehow managed to vote for Brexit. Jesus fuck. Remember the prorogation of Parliament? Yes, I do remember that. Ta-ta for now, says Charlie. And we've got Ginger Grass saying, can the Queen refuse to acknowledge Liz as the new PM? No. Realistically, no. I mean, we talk about the power of the Queen, but I don't think there's been any overriding of the will of Parliament, so to speak, since the Scottish Militia Act of 1708. So it's unlikely that's going to happen anytime soon. Viva la Revolution, boys and girls. I'll see you next time. You take care. You're all amazing, and I love you. Do you know what? I just want to say thank you to all of my wonderful patrons out there. But unfortunately, Liz Truss's face is over the top of them. Ah, good. Got rid of it. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. I'll be back on Wednesday, 4 PMQs at 12 o'clock. High noon. I'll see you then. And until then, I'll say thanks for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.